trying to care for this rose bush. I don't know anything about rose care, but I looked it up on YouTube. Snip the middle one so these two can have more life.
It is a really hot day today. Actually, this whole weekend was really hot, which made hosting people for 4th of July weekend perfect. And with us being on a lake, it was really fun swimming in the lake. It was the first time we've done that, and it was a blast. We had such a good time. Our friends had kids, and we had floaties for them, and everyone just really enjoyed themselves. And when the weather is super hot like this, I like to make light lunches like this, where it's basically just spring mix, smoked salmon, mustard, in a tortilla. It's so simple, it's so good. And I wanted to get something inside of me before I head down to my studio because I'm gonna be making salt scrubs today. I've never made a salt scrub before. I usually stick to sugar scrubs, so this will be a whole new experience. I'm excited to try it out with you guys and see how it turns out. Dead sea salt. I have a lot of this, and this is what's going into my salt scrub today. And I have my water ingredients, my water soluble ingredients. I have my oils and emulsifier ingredients here, and then I have some cool down ingredients that are a little bit more heat sensitive. So the first thing I'm going to do is to start measuring these guys out. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's start with some distilled water. We have our melted and heated ingredients. So let's pour the water into my oils, butters, emulsifiers, and then stick blend them together using a stick blender. I like this one by Braun is the company. So here is an example of lotion that did not want to come together even after I've stick blended it for over 2 minutes. Yes, it can happen and does happen to me. So when this happens is obviously a fail, and I'm gonna have to go back to my numbers and tweak a few things, and hopefully the second time around it'll be better. Maybe if I add some xanthan gum, it'll be better. I should definitely add more emulsifying wax, that's for sure. But I'll come back again once I get to the same stage and show you whether or not there's an improvement. I can already see that the xanthan gum has really thickened up my water group of ingredients. So we'll see whether or not this emulsion actually stays together this time. I was really paranoid about this emulsion. I wasn't sure if it actually was going to come together, but looks like we have a successful emulsion, which is good. And I waited until it was this cream consistency. Let me bring you closer to check it out. I don't know. I'll give you an update tomorrow whether or not this actually stays together, because I have my suspicions. I think we're ready to move on to the next phase, which is adding our salt. and our color. We're gonna add some fine sea salt, dead sea salt actually. And I bought this for my bath salts, but then I found out that dead sea salts really draw water to it, more so than most salts. So I didn't use as much as I would like in my bath salts, but this is the perfect project to use up some of the salt. So we're gonna use about 100% of what's in here and then add 40%, so pretty much 140% of the base. But you can adjust that to whatever exfoliation level you like. Just add it right in there. And this is the consistency. So we are going to add this to our jars and then take a look at the consistency of it the next day. So I'm back, it is the next day, and here's the update. Sometimes a recipe fails so hard that you just gotta go back to the drawing board and start from scratch. Just throw that recipe away and try a completely new recipe. This is one of those times. The emulsion didn't end up breaking. It stayed emulsified and put together as one unit. I don't see any separate oils, but the consistency is just a no for me. It's way too soft. It's incredibly runny, and when I tried to use it in the shower, it just wouldn't do what I wanted it to do, and it was not scrubby enough. I have a suspicion that the water dissolved a lot of the salt, and in a scrub, that's the whole point of a scrub, is that it scrubs. And when your ingredients are dissolving because there's water in your scrub, then it's no good. So I decided to just take the water out completely, take it out and do a more simple emulsified scrub with just an emulsifier and some oils and the salt, and just really break it down. It's sad to waste ingredients, but at the same time, you kind of see it as a learning opportunity. When I was researching salt scrubs, I saw these really expensive ones being sold, but I didn't take a close look at their ingredient list. But if I had, I would have noticed that a lot of the salt scrubs are comprised of the salt, an emulsifier, and oils. And I should have just kept it simple like that. Like, I just don't even like the feel of it. It's so goopy. Yikes. I love when mica is suspended in oils. It's the most beautiful thing to gaze at. Wow. Now that everything is melted, we can now add our salt to this. And I used the majority of my fine dead sea salts for the other failed scrub batch. So I'm gonna have to supplement with some Epsom salts. I think that'll be a fine enough grain. Just going to start pouring in salt, and then we have Epsom salt. We're going to stir the salt into the scrub base. The salt shouldn't dissolve, but it should incorporate with the oils nicely. All right, the next step now is to let everything cool down and solidify, and then once we have it solidified, then we can go at it with some beaters and fluff it up. So I'm gonna stick this in my fridge. While that's solidifying, we're going to mix together the rest of our ingredients so we can add it to the base once it has cooled down and solidified. Looks like we have some of the scrub solidified, which means it's ready to be whipped up. So I'm gonna go and do that. So we're gonna use this flat, wide mouth plastic jar for our scrub today. And we're just gonna simply scoop it in. So here is the final scrub with the consistency that I was looking for and took me 3 tries to finally get. I love the smell of this. It's like the deep, sweet coconut mixed with that zesty lime. It's such a perfect summertime scent and a great summertime project as well. I have them in these 4-ounce jars that I'm going to send to some of my Golden Bubble patrons. If you want to know more about that, a link to my Patreon is down below, where you will also find the recipe for this guy with all the steps. And if you're curious, even the recipe for the failed batch, so you can see, look at it and assess what I did wrong, because I think I know what I did wrong. There was too much water. I think if you're gonna make salt scrubs, just stick to a simple emulsified scrub or just oil and salt, and you should be good to go. Don't try to complicate it the way I did. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Keep smiling and keep being awesome. Bye guys.